guys, thank you for being here. I know it's been a while since I've posted, so let me get back to the swing of things by showing you this amazing transformation. As per usual, let me start with showing you before photos, and this one's a little blurry, but I have some better ones here in a second. As you can see, the finish is completely destroyed. It looks like people kept setting cups without a coaster on it, so that ring is water damaged. Both of those rings are, and the finish is definitely destroyed. The legs, it's really dirty, and also the legs are really squatty. It was really close to the ground, and the handles, even though they're pretty, they are just old. So the first thing that we did was to build those legs. Well, Corey built those legs, and that immediately elevated it and just made it a little bit more modern looking. Sterling thinks that it's still really stinky and really dirty, so he's gonna do some inspections before we can move forward. Alright, time to get our hands dirty. We're gonna start by removing the handles so that we can get to sanding. I just want to get you guys a close-up so you can see how pretty these handles are, even though they are super dirty. So instead of stripping this, I decided to sand it, and I started with a coarse grit paper. This was 80 grit, and I do not always recommend that because it will leave sanding marks. However, I knew that, so after doing an 80 grit, I went with a 150, and after the 150, I went over it with a 220 grit until I had a really smooth finish and all of those sanding marks were gone. After sanding it, it was really smooth, and I went ahead and primed it with shellac. If you're new to my channel, I suggest that you watch some of my previous videos so that you can see how I prep all of my furniture before I start painting. In this case, I used shellac. The color that I chose was by Jolie Paint in the color Moroccan Clay, and oh my god, I had been dying to use this color. It is so pretty. I grabbed the stir stick to stir my paint, and if you have seen any of my previous videos, you know that I prefer to stir my paint over shaking it because you can actually feel the resistance at the bottom where the pigment has settled, and so I like to stir it so that I can incorporate that pigment back into my paint and I have a rich and vibrant color. Alright, let's get to painting. And I don't want to sound like a broken record, but for those of you who have watched my videos before, you know the technique and the tools that I like to use to hand paint my furniture. But for those of you who are new, I will link some videos down below in the description box so that you guys can watch where I go into detail of the technique that I like to use, what tools I like to use, and all of that good stuff. So I'm gonna skip that part. Just know that it's the same technique that I always use. Is no help. What I'm trying to decide is, so originally I wanted to draw some monstera drawings, like the little outlines on it, and part of me wants to paint them green. I don't know if y'all have seen those really tropical wallpapers with like this color as a background and then the leaves really green and luscious, but I think I'm leaning towards the white now and just do like white outlines because since it's such a bright color, I still wanted to find a home quickly. I think I'll tone it down a little bit and make it look more clean and maybe more suitable for a lot more people. I can't make up my mind, so I'm gonna slip on that idea for now. But the one thing I do need to do is prime the legs so that I can come back tomorrow when they're dry and paint them with my favorite gold color. My original thought was that I was gonna paint this like a deep forest emerald green and then paint the legs and all the handles and the fixtures gold, and I was gonna do like an outline of a gold monstera leaf all over the place, like a pattern. The last minute I changed my mind. I still want to do that idea, so I might still do it. I asked y'all on Instagram what color I should use, and I gave y'all 4 options, and the answers were all over the place. It's so hard to decide when you have so many options. So I ended up making the final decision and I went with this color. Then I thought I would do like the monstera leaves and paint them green, just like really fun tropical. I landed on this idea of making it look like it's overexposed on it and like transparent. Essentially you would see this color in the background, but then you would see like a lighter version of it washed out on the front. So that's what I'm gonna try to achieve. And to do that, I'm just gonna use a lighter version of this color. So I'm gonna mix that with, I don't think, I have Palace White here by Jolie, but I think that's a little too stark, too white. So I want something a little creamier, and I have this color is DIY Crinoline, and it's like a creamy white. So I think I'm gonna go with this. If you were trying to stick to Jolie paints, I would suggest either Uptone Ecru or Antique White might be a good mixer, and they sell them in like 4-ounce samples. This is an 8-ounce can, so Jolie carries 4-ounce samples, which would be perfect for what you're trying to do here. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna mix this color, and hopefully it turns out good. If it doesn't, you'll never see this portion of this video. But wait, we haven't painted the legs yet. We're gonna paint it with about 3 coats of Dixie Belle Moonshine Metallics in the color Gold Digger mixed with 50% Wedding Belle, which are the same brand, the same kind of paint. And we're gonna do about 3 coats of that and let it dry. Now for the fun part. I'm going to hand draw my design, and like I said, I want monstera leaves. Here's a pro tip. Instead of using a pencil, I like to use a chalk pencil, which is this white pencil that I'm using, and it's much easier to erase and to clean. Like, you just use a wet rag to erase it when you're done, instead of having to struggle or paint over a pencil. I am no expert illustrator. I actually can't draw, but this was a simple design, and like I said, this pencil helps me to easily erase any mistakes. I just use the wet rag, and whenever I wet a spot, I will move on to somewhere else to let it dry so I don't smear the paint. So you'll see me wiping that down, and then I'm moving to a different spot just to let it dry before I come back to it. But it's super easy. You can adjust as you go and as you see fit. Since we already decided on the colors earlier, I'm going to scoop a little bit of my base color paint and then put some of the light one. There is no specific ratio, you just do it until you see a color that you like and go with that. I also added a little bit of water to my paint to make it easier to spread with this little tiny pencil brush. It will be easier and it'll be a little bit more transparent, so you might have to do a second coat over it if you think it's not strong enough. It is entirely up to you though. And this was me trying to film my process of cleaning the handles, but I'm completely out of focus. I'm sure you've seen it on one of my previous videos anyway, but they were real brass. So I used the exact same handles, and then I went ahead and sealed the furniture and put the handles on. Let me show you what it looks like. That's it. Hope you like it. Okay, thank you. Goodbye. Editing Blanca here. Before I end the video, I wanted to apologize because I know it's been so long since I uploaded a video. I think it's been around 2 months, and I'm so sorry. It's just that, you know, I went back to school just to torture myself because, you know, why not? And so it's really hard with full-time classes and trying to run my little business and do the furniture and then edit videos on top of that. So it's a little overwhelming sometimes, but I'm not going anywhere. I'm still going to post videos. It just takes me a little longer to do that. But if you want to see more day-to-day stuff, I stay very active on Instagram, so just follow me over there. You can even see the projects that don't make it into full-on YouTube videos because it takes forever. Okay, love you, okay, bye.
Was that you living in someone else's dreams?